Hi, how you doing? And welcome back to another video on the channel. We've got a wildcard video today for Game Week 20, and it's a fantastic week to be wildcarding because there's so many teams with double game weeks. If you wildcarded last weekend, you're probably regretting it now and thinking, oh, I should have maybe waited. But don't worry, we can maybe give you some good transfer advice as well, even if you're not wildcarding. So if you are new to the channel, please do subscribe and like the video. All the support is greatly appreciated, and we are looking to hit 60 subscribers as soon as we can. So if you can help with that, that would be fantastic. And let's get straight into it. So here is my wildcard team. We're going to start with Sanchez in goal. And after Liverpool this game week, they've got Leicester, Bournemouth, Palace, Fulham, West Ham, Leeds, and Brentford in the next 9. Sanchez is a fantastic budget goalkeeper at about 4.6 million. He's cheap, so he enables you to get good attackers in the rest of your team, but he is also able to contribute as well. And Brighton are having a pretty good season, it has to be said. Moving into the defence, and we've gone with double Newcastle here. You could kind of toss a coin between Burn and Botman. Burn has the height for set pieces. Botman's 0.1 million cheaper, so it kind of depends how tight your budget is looking for your team. We've obviously gone with Trippier. You've probably got him already. You're not going to take him out. Next, we've got Shaw from Man United, and I'm not expecting much from Man City, but you never know. You know, Man United have been able to do well against Man City in the past. The clean sheet against Palace is much more likely, but even more important, past this game week, after game week 21, they have a brilliant run of fixtures pretty much till the end of the season, minus the odd tough fixture here and there. And when you are wildcarding, it is important to look at the mid-range fixtures at least, because you've only really got one wildcard left for the rest of the season. So if you just use it because you think, there's a good double game week coming up, after that game week, you're kind of a bit stuck if you've not prepared or at least planned in a couple of transfers. Into the midfield we go. And I'm going to start with Odegaard here. I'd actually be reluctant to get in Arsenal defenders right now. It doesn't mean sell them if you're not wildcarding. But I think they're playing some good attacks. They've got Spurs, Man United, Brentford, and Man City all before game week 23. I think in terms of the attack, Odegaard is the cheapest option out of the ones that are going to contribute consistently. And he's also the least likely to be impacted by Smith Rowe returning. He started appearing on the bench as Smith Rowe, and he usually plays on the left as well, which probably means Martinelli's minutes are going to be, slightly reduced moving forward. I would still expect Martinelli to start, but I think if you want guaranteed minutes and attacking returns, Odegaard is your bet. Now, I'd also be staying away from Man City's defence. I'm sure they'll keep clean sheets at some point, but the fixtures in the immediate term are mixed. I'd be tempted to go heavy in attack if you were going to triple up on Man City. There's no absolute need to triple up on Man City, I don't think. What with their mixed defence and sort of their rotation in attack, I do think it's a luxury to have. I've gone with Gundogan here because I think he's more certain to start. But I do think Grealish or Bernardo are worth an even cheaper risk. I don't think there's anything wrong with getting one of those players in and taking a risk right now for Man City. But don't feel the pressure to triple up. There might be better options from both teams like Brighton and Brentford, I think, in the midfield. I've gone with De Bruyne because I think if you are wildcarding this week, I'd definitely get him in, but I think if you're just using transfers, I wouldn't prioritise him over the likes of Kane. He's probably going to cause you frustration, by assisting the assister. Um, and he's blanked for the last 4 game weeks, but he has shown that he did get 6 of his 10 assists for the season in 4 consecutive game weeks earlier in the season. So he can pick up like an absolute flurry of points all of a sudden. Rounding out the midfield, we've got Rashford. You'll have heard from pretty much lots of other content creators that you need to get him in. And in the short answer is, I agree with them. Into the attack, and I'm going to start with Harry Kane. And he's honestly probably the only Spurs player worth considering, even with a double game week. We talked in a previous video, he's only 17 points off Haaland's total, which to me sounds crazy, really, because you think of Haaland as having such a dominant season, but Kane's also playing really well. He's got 15 goals in 19 games, and he's not beyond a captaincy shout. really this game week if you're looking for that differential captain. We've also got Martial here. Now, Man United are scoring, and as we said earlier, they have really good fixtures in the near future. What they do in the transfer market kind of determines whether he's worth keeping. But I think if you're wildcarding on a double game week, he's definitely worth getting in because at the moment he's pretty certain to start. And finally, in attack, we've got Haaland. If you're not wildcarding, he's a serious triple captaincy option. You obviously can't use two chips in the same game week, so you don't think you could wildcard and use a triple captain in the same game week. But if you've not wildcarding, I do think Haaland is absolutely worth it. I think a lot of times people hang on to their chips for too long. And I think if you've got this opportunity to play a triple captain on Haaland, you don't know what's going to happen later in the season. He might get injured. Man City have a lot more fixtures probably later in the Champions League. He might get rotated. If you're looking for Haaland to start games and play full games, this is the time now. So, a lot of people, they wait for this perfect opportunity to use their chips, and they almost end up running out of time and just having to make the best of it later on. So, if you are thinking of triple captaining Haaland this game week and you're not sure, I would say just go for it. On the bench, we've got a ton of cheap players. I've got double Wolves defence because they enabled me to get in a lot of attackers. But I do think, especially Bueno, he's playing, so I think he's a great option to have, especially with, if Wolves sort of pick up the form. I think he's somebody you could potentially rotate in. Matoma for Brighton, he's got 2 goals in his last 2 games. He's someone that could really go under the radar. I believe he's still about 4.9 million. That's fantastic value for someone that's starting in a Brighton midfield and who's playing really well. And Ward's still the keeper on the bench. Leicester actually don't have that bad of fixtures, and he's only 4 million and he plays, so he's a great rotation person to have in with Sanchez. So let me know what you think about my wildcard team here. Are there any ones that you think you absolutely must get in? And what do you think of the transfer advice as well? If you're not wildcarding, what would you do regarding triple captaincy? Be interesting to hear people's thoughts. If you are new to the channel, do subscribe, like the video. Like I said, all the support is greatly appreciated. I think it's super cool. We've got over 50 subscribers. So thank you to all the people that have supported so far. And I will see you in the next one.